EU leaders are to meet to decide their next move after Russia formally annexed Crimea earlier this week. It's what one top European diplomat called the most flagrant breach of international law since the Second World War. Heads of state and government will also start discussing potential economic sanctions against Moscow, although no immediate decision is expected. It comes after EU foreign ministers decided on Monday to slap sanctions on 21 political and military figures. Officials say that more names could be added to that list during an EU summit on Thursday and Friday. On Tuesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a treaty allowing Crimea to split from Ukraine and join Russia. The West says the move is illegal and illegitimate. Tougher economic sanctions would come at a price to Europe's economies. Many are heavily reliant on Russian energy, whilst export-driven EU members such as Germany sell billions of euros worth of goods to Russia each year. Euronews met with Lithuanian Foreign Minister Linas Linkevičius on Monday to ask him what he expected to see decided at Thursday's summit and whether the EU needs to take a tougher line against Russia. Can you explain to our viewers how Lithuania's history has shaped your view of the Ukrainian crisis?
Everything is personal legacy, always important, and something which took place not far back ago. It's always quite fresh. So sometimes feeling of uncertainty, sometimes feeling that you should cope with the problems yourself. But now it's a bit different. We are members of the European Union, we're members of NATO, so we can plan collectively how to, so to say, withstand with the threats, pressure.
You don't fear any Russian interference inside your country?
As I said, being members of NATO, we have security guarantees. But our neighbors, they do not have these guarantees, and at least what we can do, to show our solidarity and to send very clear messages. What shouldn't be done in 21st century? Invasion, aggression against sovereign country, which is unfortunately happening not the first time, as we know. And in order to avoid this happening again, we really should do our best, utmost, at least what we can do collectively in order to prevent this.
And what does the best look like? I mean, what do you expect to see on Thursday and Friday?
The language of sanctions, it's not something we should be proud about, because it's really last resort. When calls, invitations, requests to calm down, to engage Russia directly with the Ukrainian government, also to de-escalate situation. All these calls and all these expressions, statements of concern are important, but the time comes when should really some more tangible, probably, signals to be sent.
What does Russia need to do to avoid these tougher economic sanctions?
Occupation or annexation of Crimea, whatever you can talk, it's also no-go. We will never recognize that. It's clear as it is. But now it's not less important to talk about further escalation into eastern and southern part of Ukraine. Because no one can guarantee it will not happen, although it was said that it's not on the table, that nobody is discussing these issues, but we see that the same scenario, as I said, inflicted conflicts. Russian, so to say, citizens need to defend them, and then to think about possibility to intervene by forces, which is really alarming and really concerning us, and we should really react not to prevent that happening. So not less important than to talk about de facto annexation of Crimea, which is already assessed as a violation of international law.
If I could just push you on where this red line is, I'm trying to figure out what Russia needs to do exactly.
I think personally, line is already crossed. Yeah, it's already done. What else should be done in order to convince all that what's going on, it's illegal? And but if you're asking if somebody needs more, so that more is really a further escalation of the situation. Now in the continental part, in this, so to say, other part of Ukraine. And that could be even more, so to say, proof of crossing this line. So maybe that would be convincing enough to be more consistent in our way. We should, at least we can do, implement what was already decided. And that would be also a clear signal.
Foreign Minister, thank you very much for this interview. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Appreciate it.